Midjourney character consistency. This is my first impressions, and there's one secret hidden gem for narrative filmmakers. It's a really big deal. SyncLabs has released a new version of its lip sync software, and Runway has released its own lip sync tool. And Sora finally starts to go to Hollywood, and it's just dropped some amazing new videos, and one of these videos is especially important for narrative filmmakers. Midjourney character consistency. I was planning a big video with a big expose on the consistency of locations and hair and jewelry and cosmetics and costumes and cars and blah, 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 blah. It didn't get very far. AI is still like a wild horse that's difficult to tame, and I ran out of credits before I got anywhere close to being finished with just looking at face consistency. So here's what I did discover though. I need to create a set of solid reference images that I'll use through every scene of my movie. And so I was trying to get images of characters, just starting with the female character in just plain white bra and plain white pants. Nothing revealing, just a bikini essentially, which was my first prompt. I couldn't get anywhere. Midjourney, of course, has its NSFW filters, which means that as soon as it has words like bikini, bra, underwear, he just keeps filtering them out. Simple, clean reference images are important because they are the base point from which you then add costumes later on. Much easier to add costumes to a blank canvas image than it is to try and swap costumes around, and that's why we need base images to start off with that are neutral. So here's what I did notice. Face consistency is really, really impressive. Character consistency is looking really, really promising, and I watched a great video by a guy named Tao Prompts, how do I pronounce it? I don't know, but he was talking about how to get multiple characters. So go watch that. I'll link it down below and I'll give that a try, see how it works. But a real hidden gem for narrative filmmakers in the Midjourney website alpha version, which thankfully I have access to because I've created more than 1,000 images. It's got this brilliant folders feature. Now that's really, really important because when you create a lot of images, you quickly get cluttered up and lost with where all your images are, and trying to reference them is really, really hard. Because previously I was just kind of dragging and dropping into Trello. I'd take the images into Trello, I'd make a reference of the URL and the prompt, and well, you don't have to do that now. Now I can just create a folder inside of the Midjourney alpha website, and very, 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 very helpful. So SyncLabs has released a new version of its lip sync software, version 1.6.0, and I gave it a try. There are 3 versions now. There's WAV2 Lip++, and that one's the base model that's always free apparently. Then there's 1.5 and then version 1.6. I gave all 3 a try with the same video, the same audio.
Why don't we go and find a quiet corner to go and talk?
Mixed results. I actually think that 1.5.0 for my particular sample video still worked better. There was some dodgy lips going on at the end of 1.6.0. WAV2 Lips, I think, actually did a better job of giving much more lip animation. I actually really like SyncLabs, but I didn't notice a massive difference for me with version 1.6, but worth trying out. And I'm always enthusiastic about the stuff that they're coming out with. And that brings us to Runway's lip sync tool. I gave that a try. Great and not so great. What wasn't so great is that it doesn't handle faces at an angle, whereas SyncLabs does. So it really couldn't, it just didn't even try. If a face is slightly off, it's not quite there. So I never got to find out what Runway's version of lip syncing would be with my test video. But what I did try was the test audio on one of their sample headshots. And that was really, really impressive.
Why don't we go and find a quiet corner to go and talk?
I love what Runway is doing in trying to pull together multiple tools into one place. And that, I think, will always be the future that we're heading towards. Something where you don't have to go here, 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 and there to get your project done, but you just have a one-stop shop. And I applaud Runway for trying to be that. So, keep it up. And that brings us to Sora. Sora news is always exciting news. The website The Verge reported this week that Sora is heading to Hollywood next week to go and pitch their tools to Hollywood executives and producers and agents and other filmmaker talent. Here's what The Verge said about this. OpenAI is pitching Sora to Hollywood. The AI company is scheduled to meet with a number of studios, talent agencies, and media executives in Los Angeles next week to discuss partnerships. That's very, very interesting to me. And here's the other thing that got my interest. Getting more filmmakers familiar with Sora, OpenAI's upcoming text-to-video generator, is the major goal of the meetings. Why are they doing this, and why does it matter for narrative filmmakers like me? Here's the thing. If expectations for something are like this and reality is like this, you have this big gap of disappointment. But if expectations are down here and reality is up here, whoa, you can dazzle people. Now, expectations with Sora right now are sky high, and Hollywood seems to be running for the hills, generally going, AI is coming, it's going to destroy all of us. So OpenAI has a little bit of a PR problem coming up when this is released, and this seems to be part of them trying to tackle that right now by lowering expectations, but also attempting to raise the performance of this forthcoming tool. Why is this important? Because when OpenAI go and meet with these Hollywood people, two things will happen in these conversations. Firstly, OpenAI will dazzle these various Hollywood people with what the tool can do, and that's what they're trying to do. And then they'll get feedback from the Hollywood people who will say, this is great, but if we're going to use this in our production workflows as a reliable, dependable tool, we need this, 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 and this from it. OpenAI will hopefully go away and say, what, so you're saying that that's a deal breaker? And they'll say, that's a deal breaker, got to do it. And they'll go, let's work on that. That's good news for all of us narrative filmmakers, because they're going to be taking their cue not from social media content creators, but from professional filmmakers in the industry who will set the bar much higher for what we hope OpenAI will deliver. But another major clue about OpenAI's intentions with Sora is on their website. So Paul Trillo said something really, really important to me. Sora is at its most powerful when you're not replicating the old, but bringing to life new and impossible ideas we would have otherwise never had the opportunity to see. That's music to my ears. Why? Because I have a screenplay that took me 10 years to write that I absolutely love. It is the thing that makes my soul sing. I laughed and I cried while I wrote this thing. It's the movie I'd most want to see, but it's visually rich. It's very imaginative. It's about a guy who, when he touches people, the things that they're thinking suddenly become real. So the whole theme of the movie plays around with the kind of woof that happens when you make people's thoughts suddenly become real. That would otherwise be a really expensive movie to make. But this is the great potential of AI, to do things that I never would be able to do using traditional Hollywood techniques. And I think that this is what OpenAI is trying to pitch to Hollywood. They're trying to say, look, things that you normally would have to spend this much money to do, if you work this into your workflow, you have the potential here to bring the costs down dramatically and still tell visually dazzling stories. Very exciting. On that note, have you seen the new sample videos yet? I mean, we were already blown away with the other ones, but these new ones are like just mesmerizing. But there was one video in particular that really caught my attention and is really important for narrative filmmakers. Let me tell you why. This video was made by a Canadian multimedia team called Shy Kids. These guys are great. There's only 3 of them, and they are half musicians and half video creators and storytellers, and it's a brilliant blend. Their video, what they did with Sora, was especially exciting because what they've done is they've said, look, it can't do all these things, but it is able to do this. And they created a narrative that did that magical thing of captivating your attention so that you forgot the tool. So you forget you were looking at AI. And that is where you cross an incredibly important milestone. And that's where storytelling just never gets old, where it's absolutely crucial. Because what they did was come up with a narrative story that was possible within the limitations of the tool. The bubblehead guy is genius because you don't have to worry about lips moving because it was narrated the whole time. And so they've bypassed the problems with lips moving. They've bypassed the problems with facial consistency by giving the guy just a balloon head. The thing was just brilliant because you forgot you were watching AI. I'm off to pack my bags. I'm flying to America with my family for a little 2-week trip, and I'm going to try and find an American actress who will willingly give me some of her voice talents and her acting talents to create more content that I can use as reference material for my ongoing project to turn my screenplay slowly into a watchable movie using AI tools. But I need some more reference material, and I need an actress with an American accent, like a real one, an authentic one. AI can do a lot, but it can't give me an American 21-year-old girl's voice.